Welcome back to Tudo Tuga, the Everything Portuguese Soccer podcast. I'm Kevin Jesus. That's Christian. That's Mitch. And the sun did come out. It is a new day. There is a bright future. We all survived. We're all smiling. Disappointed, heartbroken, but hey, it's not the end of the world. Yes, Portugal eliminated in the round of 16 against Belgium. It was a tough game. It was a tough game to watch, mainly because, Portugal was the better team. And they played extremely well, but unfortunately, luck just wasn't on their side. So we have a lot to talk to today. We're going to be talking about Portugal at Euro 2020, what went wrong, where do they go from here, and of course, we start talking about World Cup 2022. So let's start with last week's big game on Sunday, the round of 16, Portugal versus Belgium. You know, we knew it was going to be a tough game, but I don't know if we expected the way that game played out. Portugal outplayed Belgium. Portugal was just it was a stunning performance. They played incredibly well, but they just couldn't get the job done. Mitch, Christian, what happened?
Oh boy, this was a great start because I think for the first time, Fernando Santos actually got it right. He got, I think, the lineups for the most part right. I think he got the strategy right. So Portugal looked really good.
Yeah.
You know, for most of the game, obviously, you know, a little bit of a mind lapse on the goal. But we I think learned from our mistakes against Germany in playing against that formation. And I think he got it right for the most part.
Yes.
But like one shot, one goal.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in there real quick. I think he got it right. Obviously, we played like a lot of players we were talking about. But I know we mentioned off the air about some of the players' performances, and one of them was Bernardo Silva. There was a lot of players that did bad. Bernardo underperformed. Bruno underperformed. Jota underperformed. We mentioned a little bit last time on the other podcast that other players need to step up.
Yeah.
And then we can't just sit on Ronaldo, he's 36 years old, and then him having to score 5 goals, and then everybody else score. I think the only other player that scored up front was Jota. You know, that's unacceptable. He did change his lineup. He did
3 penalty shots.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But as you see, I don't know if you've seen this stat. Spain, they played yesterday, missed 6 penalty shots in a row. So still got to score them. But one thing, he did get the lineup right. He played a lot of players that we talked about.
Oh, Bellini did a great job.
Yeah,
coming in for Danilo, because we had talked about Danilo being you know a little bit tired. So Bellini came in and playing against somebody like a De Bruyne. I mean, the tackle he makes on De Bruyne ends up unfortunately injuring De Bruyne, but I mean that tackle on De Bruyne was from. I mean, yeah, he hit a couple of field goals, but that's not what he was there to do.
Yeah,
right. So I think he came in really, really well. I think Santos was a fucking bull in the midfield. I mean, it was unbelievable. I still think I would have preferred Ruben Neves over João Moutinho.
Yeah. Moutinho, he did his job, but, you know, it's not.
But that's the thing. So you look at the goal.
Yeah.
You know, and when we talked about Fernando Santos making sure that he learned from what happened against Germany, when you look at how Thorgan gets to have that shot, it's Bernardo Silva.
It's all day.
Isn't tracking back. Bernardo Silva is not tracking back to mark the wingback.
Yeah.
And we talked about how important it was going to be if Portugal were going to beat Belgium and make sure that we didn't expose the same weaknesses we did against Germany, that either he made sure that our left and right mids were tracking back to mark their wingbacks, or switch something up, and it was Bernardo Silva who was just jogging along, and then all of a sudden he realized Hazard was open. He got the ball, and he was trying to get on him, and he lets him have a crack.
You hit the nail on the head. That's what I was trying to lead up to with Fernando Santos getting everything right. We talked about this, how the players weren't tracking back. The defensive work rate was really bad, and like a lot of people didn't catch this, but we analyzed everything.
So I'm going to ask you something, because a lot of people on TSN, on a lot of the different networks I was watching, even after the game, reviewing the game, a lot of people said Rui Patricio should have made that save.
Yes. So, I mean, yes and no, but if you look at that shot, it's a little harsh, I think. If you look at that shot, it swerved right and then went left. It was like a really good shot. I think he sort of cheated a little bit to one side. I mean, he could have saved it, but
I think it's harsh, man.
It is a little harsh.
I think it's harsh. I talked to a couple of keepers that said that shot, nobody understands how hard that is to save because of the speed and the force that the ball is coming in, and then the direction change. And if you look, Patricio takes a step to his right before the shot's taken, because I think he might have thought the shot was coming to his near post.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it does that. And with the speed that it comes in, for him to readjust his feet and get a strong enough hand to it, man, I think it was being a little bit.
It was a world-class shot by a world-class player.
Yeah.
And you can't blame Rui Patricio for that. It is what it is.
Especially after the save he makes against Pogba in the France game, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what it comes down to is Belgium took advantage of their one and only opportunity, and Portugal didn't. They just did not finish. And luck wasn't on their side. They came close. They hit the post there late in the game. It's a game of inches. It just what happened. So what's tougher for you guys? Is it, losing the way they did against Germany or losing the way they did against Belgium? Because in both ways, the way you lost against Germany, that was tough to watch because Portugal was just destroyed. They were humiliated in many ways and it was frustrating. But it's almost equally as frustrating the way they lost against Belgium because the best team did not win. Portugal should have been there. And watching yesterday, Italy versus Belgium, all I kept thinking about was Portugal should be here right now. So what's a tougher way to lose for you guys?
Definitely, I don't think it's debatable. The Germany loss was way worse for me because you left that game with so many questions. I left that game, I'm like, this is not our best lineup. We have so many better players. We have better options, better tactics. It was just horrible. We left that game with our head down. We were sort of ashamed. I feel like with the Belgium game, we left, like I even mentioned it when we were watching the game. I'm like, you know what? This sucks. It really hurts. But, we can leave this game like knowing that we played well. We missed our chance. We were the better team.
Kept hit the nail on the head. You leave the game saying, you know what? The better team didn't win today.
Yeah.
So we were the better team. I think even Belgium kind of knew.
Yeah.
Alex Witzel said in an interview afterwards, he said that, Portugal won Euro 2016 playing exactly how we did. So, I think they kind of had that feeling that they were outplayed. But Kev, you said it, and this is a game of inches. And as soon as Jota misses that chance,
we talked about it right away.
In the first 7 minutes of the game, we said, you don't score, you get scored on. Like, you cannot not hit the net. Diogo Jota, the player that he is, the world-class player that he is, in that chance, he's got to at least hit the net.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot scuff a shot. Like, you have to take your chances.
Scuff a shot is one thing. He scuffed 3. He should have had 3 goals. And like you said, this is the Euro Cup. This is game of inches. Belgium had 1 shot on net. They scored.
Yeah.
Even the Italy, their first 2 out of 3 shots against Belgium in the first half were goals.
Yeah.
Like you got to finish.
That's what you got to do.
But the frustrating thing is, if we didn't have any other options, like if Jota is all that we had and Bernardo Silva was all that we had, and we were sitting there saying, well, fuck, what else are you going to put in? What I mean, you've got the number 2 goal scorer in the Bundesliga with 28 goals, right behind Lewandowski and ahead of Haaland, sitting on the bench. He fucking played 46 minutes this year.
Not to mention he came on in the 84th minute. Like, imagine that for morale.
I mean, if Jota's not on his game, fucking take him out.
So that brings us.
Go ahead.
So that brings us to the question: what went wrong for Portugal? So we can dissect this entire tournament. We could be here for 5 hours. But what are the key things that went wrong? And I would tend to agree with you, Mitch. That's one thing that Andre Silva was in great form coming into this tournament and really wasn't used. So either we were missing something from the training and so forth, or that was a bit of an error on Fernandes' part. Then again, you look at Bruno Fernandes. He was in form in the Premier League, but he disappeared. So I don't know. Maybe Fernandes saw something that we didn't. I don't know, but I do feel like that was a big mistake for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. Not only André Silva, but Pedro Gonçalves.
Yeah.
Not a single fucking minute.
Yeah.
Portuguese League Golden Boot winner.
Yeah.
We're talking about we can't score. Bernardo Silva, 0 shots on goal, 0 attempted shots on goal, 0 goals, 0 assists, and he started every fucking game.
I know.
Like, at what point is the coach?
And not to mention, he was at fault. And I know you gotta really have to analyze the game to see this, but if you actually look back at that play, he was at fault for that goal.
Yeah.
You see him just tracking back, like nice and like, man, we're in the Euro. You gotta have a better work rate. Not to mention, like, there has to be competition for every spot. That's what makes great teams. You got to know that there's a guy fighting for your spot.
Yeah.
And when a guy, like you said, Pedro Gonçalves, doesn't even play with a high defensive work rate, first time playing for the national team, not to mention they took him off the U21 team where they were playing in the final.
Sure.
Why would you bring him to the national team if he's not going to play a minute?
That's a great point, man.
Why not leave him, let him win a trophy potentially, 100%. With the U21s, but no, bring him up. I don't even play in one single minute.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned at the end of the Belgium game, that look at the lineup we had. The players we came in, João Felix, he didn't even play this term. I know he had a little bit of injuries, but still, he could have played.
Yeah.
Andre Silva, very low minutes. Pot, no minutes.
Yeah.
We could keep going down the list.
To be fair, João Felix, he's going to be operated on his ankle.
Yeah.
I think he was already operated this week. So there was obviously some injury issues with João Felix, but that's not the only options that we have.
I'm listing like 5 or 6 players. I'm just listing 100%. All this quality that even at the end of the game,
Guedes didn't even play.
We could go on. And that goes to my next point. I think our biggest failure in this tournament, because people ask, even in my group chat, they're like, okay, well, Portugal has all these quality players. Why did we lose? And I honestly just tell them, like, honestly, we got out-coached. We didn't have the right coach to make the right plays, because with the quality we have, it's mind-blowing.
Yeah. Like,
I actually made a list. I'm not going to take up the whole podcast and read every single player's, achievements last year.
Yeah.
If you go down that whole list, they're either won the league, they're on the best team of the year, it's crazy. Yeah. They all had amazing seasons, and the majority of them didn't play. So for me, the coaching, and I'm going to wrap this up, but real quick, this is the problem with Portuguese culture. We won the Euro, and everybody's like, oh, Fernando Santos, oh, he's amazing. Oh, he can't leave. He has that job there. Okay. But how many great coaches win the Champions League, win the league? They don't perform the next year, they're out. Man. We got to have that standard up here.
I agree, man.
And that's where I feel like we're missing. Our standard's very low.
I'm going to hit you with a stat. Euro 2016, World Cup 2018, and now Euro 2020. Our seleção has won 3 games in 90 minutes. I'm going to repeat that. In the last 3 tournaments, even the one that we won, our seleção was able to get 3 wins in 90 minutes. And they came against Iran. They came against Wales. And they came against Hungary. At what point does Fernando Gomes, the president of the Federação, sit down and look at that stat and say that is not acceptable?
Okay,
take away the failures in qualification.
But hold on. It doesn't matter if you win in 90 minutes or if you win in extra time or if you win in penalty kicks. I mean, that is a solid stat that does tell a little bit of the story for sure.
It tells you what kind of coach you have, Kev.
Well, for sure. But at the end of the day, you can win every game in penalty kicks, but if you win the tournament, that's all that matters. No one's going to remember how you got there. But to your point, you're right. There is definitely a disconnect with Fernando Santos. It definitely seems like he almost gets nervous once he gets to the big stage, and then he kind of outcoaches himself because he starts to overthink. And we kind of saw that against Germany, where he decided not to play the game and the style that got them to the dance. Play the way that got you there. Instead, he started playing scared and started playing defensive. So the question becomes, does Fernando Santos stay or go? We had this discussion after the game on Sunday, Which, by the way, first of all, I should have said this at the beginning of the podcast. I feel like I need to apologize because the last time I had you guys over for a knockout game, Portugal lost to Uruguay 1-0. And now you guys came over again and Portugal lost 1-0 to Belgium. So I don't know if you guys are allowed at my house anymore. But no, in all seriousness, though, I think you can't get rid of Fernando Santos. You absolutely cannot get rid of him right now. And I'll tell you why. Right now, Portugal is in a unique situation. Well, the entire world's in a unique situation because of COVID. Euro 2020 happened in 2021, which means Portugal has 5 games in the next 4 months in World Cup qualifying. That'll end the World Cup qualifying campaign. And in just over a year, World Cup 2022 starts in Qatar. That's not enough time to get rid of a coach and bring someone in to create a new identity, whatever. I think naturally, you have Fernando Santos play out the end of this generation, quite frankly. World Cup 2022, his swan song. After that, you bring in someone new who will then be able to have the embarrassment of riches with João Felix and André Silva and Bruno Fernandes and Bernardo Silva. The list goes on and on and on. Like, this is going to be the end of Pep and Ronaldo and, So let this be Fernando Santos' last swan song. But to get rid of him now, I think would be completely irresponsible and would actually hurt Portugal going forward. So I think everyone needs to take a step back and take a deep breath. Yes, can he be frustrating at times? Absolutely. Can he get results? Absolutely. But can he also be outcoached? Yes. So, I mean, it's a love-hate relationship with him, but I think it's the wrong decision to be looking to get rid of him right now.
Kevin, I think this is history again. I respectfully disagree with you.
I should cut off your microphone.
My counter argument to that is look at what happened with Chelsea last year. You could have said, halfway through the season, they're so close to the Champions League, we can't fire Lampard. Let's let them finish the season. Them firing Lampard and bringing in a new coach was the greatest thing they ever did.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt. I'm sorry. I don't like doing this, but I need to interrupt. There's a big difference between club football and international football. Club football, you are with them every single day. So you have that opportunity to really work with them and find that identity. You have more time. With an international, you don't. You have those short windows. So you don't have a lot of time to really work with the players and to get your tactics in and your strategies. So I think it's completely different. I think you need more time on an international level than you do at a club level.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit different, but we still have lots of games to play. One of the pundits were mentioning about Fernando Santos that it's really hard to go from a defensive style to an offensive style. Because that's his style, and then now he's playing 2016 Portugal right now. He's how do you start the tournament?
No, and I'm going to make the argument. So Netherlands goes out in the round of 16. Frank de Boer's gone.
Yeah.
France goes out in the round of 16. Deschamps might be out the door.
Yeah.
This is the guy who won them the World Cup.
Yeah.
We go out in the round of 16. Nobody's talking about Fernando Santos leaving.
Yeah.
When it was a clear coaching mistake. I mean, basically, I get where Kev's coming from.
Yes, me too.
But if you leave him there, you're basically saying you're willing to accept the same performance and the same standard for the upcoming World Cup.
Yeah. Okay, but hold on. If André Silva doesn't hit the post, it's 1-1. Who knows what happens? If Portugal gets past Belgium and goes to the quarterfinals, we might be having a different conversation here.
See, but Kevin, this goes before even the Euro Cup.
I agree.
We finished behind Ukraine. He put us in the group of death. You know what I mean? And that loss to Germany, I mean, that could have went. We switched 4 places in the last game. This is nitpicking, but that loss there put us into 3rd place. There's so many other things that happened even before that knockout.
Yeah, because we're not I brought up the stats for the last 3 tournaments, but our qualifying, that's what I was saying. We're not even taking into consideration our very poor qualifying record lately.
Yeah.
It's this. I mean, the last World Cup qualifier, I mean, we were struggling, man. We were struggling.
Barely scored against Luxembourg. Remember?
We hardly scored against Luxembourg. It was like Arashka to get a win against Luxembourg.
But at what point do the players need to take responsibility for that as well? And the players need to step up as well and need to get the job done.
No doubt.
Yes.
But That's soccer, man. You can't. Yeah, the players are likely at fault, but ultimately the responsibility falls on one man, and that's the coach.
Especially when you have like players that are just shooting out at you on paper. You know, like if you went in there and you've seen that he shook up the lineup, tried different things, and it still didn't work, I can maybe give him a little bit of credit. But look at the first game against Hungary. Look at the lineup we put out.
Yeah.
Like, and we talked about this even before the Euro started. The biggest parts that we talked about, it's like, man, Fernando Santos, we don't know. He doesn't have this lineup figured out.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at other teams, like you already knew how Belgium's going to play. Yeah. You already knew, like you go down the list of all these quality teams, you knew they had a system, they had structure, they had an 11. He was still figuring things out. And I understand he doesn't have as much time as clubs, and that's 100% right, Kevin. But everybody else is on the same boat too. Yeah. You know, we have the same, like it's the same with everybody else. They can say they didn't have enough time, but you know they make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, so then who do you replace him with? Andre Villas-Boas?
You know what?
Is that the only option out there?
No, because Andre Villas-Boas just took the job as sporting director at Rio Ave, so he's off the market. But
okay, I'm sure he would leave Rio Ave for the Portuguese national team.
But I think Andre Villas-Boas has his eye on the reason he went into a director role with Rio Ave is he's trying to vie for potentially an eventual candidature to be the president at Porto. I think that's Andre Villas-Boas' aim and his goal. But as soon as Portugal got knocked out, there were two coaches in particular that were on the market. They've been since snatched up, but in the last week, Nuno Espírito Santo, it was rumored he had actually turned down the job with Tottenham. And Marco Silva, who has been without a club since he left Everton. Two coaches that I personally think would have done a really, really good job. Leonardo Jardim is out there.
Yeah.
Right? There's a ton of different Portuguese. To me, Nuno Espírito Santo would have been really the front runner, to me. Now he's obviously gone to Tottenham. Would he even have considered a job with the Seleção? Because it's very different going from coaching a club level to a Seleção. But were those conversations even had? I mean, Marco Silva he just signed with Fulham. I mean, was he even considered? I mean, were they even having these conversations, or did Fernando Gomes just after the Euro just say no?
But remember, they re-signed Fernando Santos to a contract extension last year. So, I mean, I think they're also thinking of it from a financial perspective that they just re-signed him. So, I mean, you
can't fire him.
Let's not fire him.
You can't fire him, right? You cannot fire him.
Exactly. He's out of contract right now.
You got to sit down and you got to talk to him and basically say, listen, we're going to give you the opportunity to resign. And I think he should have resigned. Based on the performance, he should have resigned. We were defending champions. And to go out in the round of 16, to me, I mean, I don't know there must have been an expectation set prior to this tournament starting. The Federação must have sat down with him and said, Fernando, we need to get to quarterfinals, semifinals at the bare minimum. Yeah. And if you failed, you're gone. But Fernando Santos himself, if I don't know what it was, I can't see them sitting there saying, round of 16 as defending champions is the bar. Like if they're setting the bar at the round of 16, that's a problem. But whatever the bar was set at, if we didn't hit it, Fernando Santos himself should be coming forward saying, you know what, we didn't hit our expectations. That's on me.
But what we're also not seeing is what's happening in the locker room behind the scenes, right? Cristiano Ronaldo seems to have a ton of respect for Fernando Santos.
Everyone has the respect.
Of course, absolutely.
He's got everyone's respect.
But certain players have a lot more say, right? And if they're saying, I mean, if you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you know you have one tournament left in you, World Cup 2022, widely believed to be his last tournament. You have Pep, widely believed to be his last tournament coming up in Qatar. Do you want to start all over again with a new coach, new system, when you know that you're a couple inches away where it's completely different? totally different result. So I don't know. I think that, like I said,
I don't think the players are sitting there and you cannot tell me as a player, like we're fans, we're sitting back and we see the failure in the tactics, in the player selection, in the usage of a short bench. You can't tell me the players aren't seeing this. You can't tell me the players aren't just as frustrated. You can't tell me Pedro Gonçalves isn't pissed that he didn't even get a minute. You can't tell me André Silva coming off the season he had, and everybody else knows exactly who's there. Like you can't tell me these players are happy with the way Fernando Santos handled the team.
I'm sure if Fernando Santos was gone, again, I'm gonna say this. I don't think he's gonna go anymore. I think the window is missed. I really want to say that, but I know that if the players do respect the coach and he does leave, it's not the first time a players like the coach and they got fired and left. At the end of the day, they're competitive too. They want to win.
Yeah.
If I went up to Cristiano Ronaldo, like, listen, we're gonna get rid of Fernando Santos, but you're gonna be a better team, he would have took that in a heartbeat. Okay. But and then another candidate I think you missed is Rui Jorge. Rui Jorge is been part of the U21s for like 10, 11 years. He's done really well for them. And I know the next question is, I know it's a step above. I get it. But he knows all the talent. He knows every single one of those players. And I feel like with him, he would try different players. He wouldn't be like stuck on the Danilus and the Williams and whatever. Those are just the first two players that came to my mind. But he would mix up the team and switch up the culture, because like I mentioned it before, going from a super defensive tactic where that's all you played to transition into a free-flowing soccer is very difficult to do.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. Do you know who I would love to see coach our seleção? And I can't believe I'm going to say this wearing
Scolari.
No, Conceição.
Sérgio Conceição. You know what? Come the Liga, I fucking hate the guy.
Can't stand him.
But that attitude, the heart, the passion that he brings, I would love to. I hate him when he's coaching Port. But let me tell you something. That's the type of coach, when he's on your side, you fucking love him.
So and just imagine how good he's going to be coaching Portugal at Euro 2024 after Fernando Santos, his era comes to an end.
Could very well be, Kev.
Right? Because that's the way we got to go. So, all right. So, I mean, again, we could talk about Fernando Santos for like 15 hours here, but we won't. World Cup qualifying 2022 coming up. Portugal right now in first place, tied with Serbia, both with 7 points. Portugal with 2 wins and a draw. Top team in each qualifying group automatically qualifies to Qatar. Second place teams go to a playoff. Obviously, we know Portugal, when it comes to qualifying, it's always a crapshoot, and they tend to make things a lot harder for themselves. They've got 5 qualifying games. The remaining 5 games, that's all that's left between September 1st and November 14th. It starts off against Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, and Azerbaijan, Luxembourg, Republic of Ireland, and Serbia. I mean, in theory, Portugal should be cruising their way to Qatar, booking their ticket. Life is good. They actually also play a friendly against Qatar on October 9th. I mean, what do we think here? What, based on what we've seen, does Portugal have enough to get the job done?
One last jab at Fernando Santos. If we don't finish first place this time, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay? Ireland, Azerbaijan, Luxembourg, Ireland, and Serbia. We got to win all 5 of those games. If we don't finish first, I'm flipping this table. I'm telling you right now. This is the last time.
You know what? You're going to see it, man. Ireland is the first game.
Yeah.
You're going to see what he learned, if anything, from our exit. And you're going to see it right away, man.
Maybe we should start smoking as much and start analyzing his team a little more.
Dude, you're going to see it. You're going to see. I mean, there should be no reason why we don't get through this group in first place. Yeah. But I agree with you. If we don't, which we've already had a tough goal with this, and how? Like a tie against Serbia, like a squeaked out a win against Luxembourg. Like, It hasn't been a great qualifying round. So
man, we're not 2016 no more. Look at our lineup. There's no excuse for it.
Dude, like I say, you're gonna see the first game against Ireland, what he has learned and what he is going to implement to change and try to get more out of this team and come out the way we did against Belgium. Come out like that. Don't come in with two trinks. No more two trinks. That needs to go away. We can never play like that. Like he has to now sit back, look at the game against Belgium and say, wow. Because I feel like sometimes he maybe lacks the confidence in these players and in the group that he has.
Yeah.
Bing, ding, 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 100%. That is Fernando Santos' biggest weakness. He absolutely lacks confidence in himself sometimes, and we saw that against Germany. That's why he didn't play their style that got them there. He ended up playing super defensive because he was scared. He was scared of the power of Germany, forgetting that Portugal is a team that teams should be scared of.
Yeah.
That's the difference. But again, going back to World Cup qualifying, what does Portugal need to do to book their ticket to Qatar the easy way? November 14th, we're celebrating knowing that in 1 year we're going to be in Qatar, as opposed to looking ahead to March and who are we going to play in a playoff and are we going to be able to win it in a two-leg series?
What I'm going to say to that is there's no lockdown positions. I don't even care. Even Ronaldo shouldn't be locked down.
Yeah.
It's the best player enters the field.
I agree.
And there's got to be competition. If you look at every single great team, there's a player breathing down their freaking throat for that spot. Even in practices, got to be competitive.
Yeah.
I'm talking nobody's got a lock. A guy like William should not have been there. I know it's easy to say hindsight. Maybe he would have had a great tournament. Okay. But in theory, he should not even have been there.
Yeah.
But yet, because of his name, he was there. That's my first thing.
But the lock thing, though, I mean, we saw this in 2004 because that was the first time that a Portuguese coach, Scolari, had the guts to take Luis Figo out instead of just playing him all the time. But that was also Luis Figo already towards the end of his career. I don't care who you are. No one's going to say to Cristiano Ronaldo, we're taking you out, because you know how he is. And then you're going to start creating dissension in the locker room, and that's the last thing you want, right?
Yeah.
Now, but certain positions, certain players, yes. William, hindsight, absolutely. He shouldn't have been there.
Yeah,
but I think it was his size that made him that advantage. I mean, Renato Sanchez, he played incredibly well against Belgium. They should have been using him far more often than they did.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that at Ronaldo at all. You can't even argue that because he scored 5 goals. Although 3 of them were penalty shots. Who else scored offensively? This is not for him. Even though if he is playing bad, take him out. I'm not saying he has a locked spot either, but this wasn't a shot at him. It was shot more of players with like William and the old generation. Nobody's has a locked position. If you're out of form in the season, don't get called up. Play the best player. Look at Italy. They put Chiesa on the bench. You know what I mean? Yeah. He earned his spot. He played good. Boom, he's in. He's playing their best players all the time. Okay? Fernando Santos has to do that. He's got to mix up the lineup. This goes back to the root of the question. What do we got to do to solidify our spot? Is play our best players, play our best 11.
I feel like I feel with this group of players, you either get one or the other. You either get Ronaldo in great form or you get 11 in great form. Yeah. And what I mean by that is when Ronaldo's on the field, it's the Ronaldo show. It's constantly the Ronaldo show. It's get him the ball. It's play to him. It's cater to him. But when he's not on the field, I feel like these guys play a lot better. We play as a much better team. So it sucks because I feel like it's one or the other. We can't get a great team performance with Ronaldo playing really well and scoring goals, or we get Ronaldo playing great with 10 guys supporting him. And I just don't feel like, and I kind of, maybe that's what Fernando Santos struggles with is he realizes he can't get a great team performance with Ronaldo on the field like we did against Croatia in the Nations League. I keep going back to that game because it was an unbelievable performance. You don't get to see a lot these days of the Seleção playing without Ronaldo. But when we did, it was magic, man. These kids, it's like the pressure was gone. And we got to remember, Ronaldo is 37.
36.
I mean, you get a kid like Diogo Jota who's 21 years old. I mean, this kid grew up idolizing Ronaldo. Like this kid, Ronaldo is an idol to these guys. Not just a guy they grew up playing with and whatnot. No. He's an idol. And I think the pressure, you see Jota miss a shot and Ronaldo and I'm sure, on the field, he gives him he screams at him and whatnot. And I'm sure probably in the locker room, he tones it down a little bit and encourages him. But man, the pressure that these guys must be feeling to perform with him on the field is huge. So, man, I don't know how that, what he really needs to do is try to figure out how to. I agree with you. I no position is a lock. If we had a coach who had the balls to take Ronaldo out, but to you guys' point too, if you take Ronaldo out, what does that do to his morale, and then does that start to create shit in the dressing room? It's a really messed up situation.
Yeah. I just want to take this opportunity. Obviously, the last couple podcasts, we've been live streaming them, and we have so many viewers that watch them after the fact. But we have 2 people who are actually watching live right now. So to your people who are watching live, thanks for joining us on this Saturday morning, 10 a.m. You could be watching the Denmark-Czech Republic game, but you're choosing to watch us. So thank you very much. We're very thankful for that. Okay, so you're right. There's a lot going on there with World Cup. We will certainly talk a lot about that. What about the people that have really stood out here over the last couple of days? Who are your Saggy stars of the week? Christian, Mitch, which one of you wants to get? So I think you both have the exact same one anyway.
Yeah, I think Pep. I think nobody can argue that. I think we got the same player for a reason. He was an absolute monster. Diaz actually turned it up later. Like, he had a great game. But, how is Pep outperforming Diaz? Although he didn't have a bad game, I'm just saying, you noticeably see Pep, is a beast at 38 years old. And this guy.
Lukaku bounced off of
his shoulder. Can
we just recognize that?
He didn't even just bounce. He fell down. Boom. See you later.
Not to mention just about murdering somebody on the field on that one play off the ball. I mean, it wasn't just for his performance. I've got Pep as the Saggy star, not just for his performance, but the guy that this guy showed on the field.
That was missing.
This guy was playing striker. He does a 50-yard sprint back. Ruben Dias had the ball. He grabs the ball from Ruben Dias and pulls it for, this guy's 38 years old, man.
Mitch, that is what's missing from everybody else. If everybody else had that work ethic,
we were watching him. I looked at you and said, look at Pep. Look at the guy's running 45 yards, goes back, gets the ball from Ruben Dias, puts it for it's that heart.
That's what we're missing.
It's that heart, man, that I love to see from a guy like Pep, and that I wish everybody else on the field adopted that.
Now look at that play and look at when Belgium scored, what you've seen from Bernardo Silva. And I'm not roasting him. It was lots of players. This is just an example of the guy, the heart. Yeah. You just tracking back slow. It's, that's my guy. Let me just, you need to be, 100% concentrated. And man, the Euro was a game of inches. Belgium had one shot, they scored. It's the little thing, the little details is what's going to win you a game.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. I think Pep has been not only has he been one of Portugal's top players lately, I would say he's been one of Portugal's greatest players of all time. He has been an incredible part of this team. Sorry, I've got Google Home talking randomly here in my house. I think Google Home is excited about Pep as well.
I think Google Home was roasting Fernando Santos too. I think I heard it in the background.
Google Home is saying, don't listen to Christian. Santos is absolutely the right man for this job right now, given the circumstances. Hey, my Saggy star of the week, part of me wants to be a shit disturber and say Fernand Santos for actually being aggressive against Belgium and doing that, but I'm not going to do that. My Saji star of the week, I'm going to go with Renato Sanchez. He was just a stud out there. I mean, at one point, just before he was subbed off, he was basically keeled over. He was so tired. He played his heart out. He had so many good chances. He set up so many plays. He's exactly what we needed, that injection of energy, that youthful energy that we needed. The future definitely looks bright for him. And I think the part that I love about Renato Sanchez right now is he had a lot of potential early on, and then he kind of fell off the face of the earth when it came to the national team, and now he's back. So maybe this is the tournament that rejuvenated him, and maybe we're going to see a really exciting and a difference here coming up into World Cup qualifying and into Qatar as well.
Potential move to Liverpool.
He has one issue, though. He has one issue that's going to hold him back.
He likes Fernand Sanchez?
No. He has to compete with William Carvalho, and that's just that's not fair to him. That is not fair to him. You know, it's like I feel really bad for him. If it was anybody else, locked in.
Dude, I was looking forward. William had said before the tournament, if Portugal won, he would have shaved his mustache.
Oh,
I was totally looking forward.
Yeah, his nickname was Bigode. So which means
we have a comment here from Bryant Contreras, who says we need a coach that will have Portugal playing with more energy and confidence. You know what, Brian? I think we all agree that is the case. I think
Cheers,
we absolutely do. I just think that it's the wrong – I've been saying this all day. It is the wrong time to make a coaching change when you have 5 World Cup qualifiers, your final 5 qualifiers coming up in the next 4 months. I just don't think this is the right time to do it.
There's 2 jobs that I want to have. There's a weatherman and the coach of Portugal. The 2 jobs you can mess up every single time and still be employed.
Hey guys, you know what?
This
has been a lot of fun. It has been a fiery debate for sure. Euro 2020 is now in the books, and for the most part, it'll be a forgettable tournament for Portugal. But the future is bright. We have a lot of young stars that are pretty exciting. Speaking of exciting, though, before we leave, Christian, Mitch, I want you guys to talk a little bit about why you wanted to actually start this podcast in the first place. So the first 5 episodes here, we've been focusing heavily on Euro 2020 and the Seleção. But one of the reasons why you guys wanted to do this, and you've been wanting to do this for years, is to focus on the Portuguese Liga. And it is a league that doesn't get a lot of attention around the world, especially in English-speaking language. And obviously, I'm a smart guy, so is Christian. We love Sporting, the right team, the only team to cheer for. I mean, for Mitch, it looks like he threw up on himself, but that's actually just the Benfica logo. I mean, I apologize. You know, you must have got that at like a garage sale or something. I mean, if you needed to start a backyard fire, go for it. But no, in all honesty, though, the Portuguese League is going to get started pretty quick here. I mean, we've had transfers. We've already had some preseason games. Ricardo Quaresma scored today for oh my gosh, it was Vitória Guimarães she's playing for, I believe. Yeah, they won 2-1 today. So there's a lot of excitement. What can we expect going forward here in our next few episodes that we do?
Yeah, one of the main reasons why we actually started this podcast is because of the Portuguese League. And for those of you that don't follow it as deeply as us, let me tell you, this is a soap opera. You're going to see things in this league that we're going to bring up that's going to absolutely blow your mind. That some of the things that they get away with in this league and that happens, it's
you actually wonder sometimes if this shit's scripted.
Yeah, it's that bad. I mean, like it's bad.
You know, this last year especially, we didn't, obviously because of COVID, there was no fans, but I don't think there's ever been a year where I've been so dialed in to Liga NOS, honestly, because it was all the background drama with the coaches and, you know, especially Sérgio Conceição. I mean, I as much as I hate him, I was so happy that he resigned with Porto, honestly, because he brings entertainment, man. He really does. He gives me a reason to scream and yell and swear every week.
How about Jorge Jesus, man? I don't even mean entertainment.
You know what? Jorge Jesus needs to step it up.
He needs
to step it up. Okay?
No. But dude, I'm talking about entertainment. This guy alone has 15 like
No, I'm
troll
saying
pages on
even
Instagram.
entertainment wise, he's dialed it down. I mean, we're
Hey,
talking
take
about
it
a
easy.
guy.
Take it easy.
Hey guys, save this for another episode. We're going to be here forever. By the way, breaking news: Denmark with a 1-0 lead over the Czech Republic. That in the 8th minute of their quarterfinal game. Of course, the winner of that will end up playing either England or Ukraine. Really quickly, Denmark, Czech Republic, England, Ukraine. Who's going to win?
Really quick, I want to go with Denmark. But can I say one more thing?
Go for
Portugal's
it.
not completely out of this tournament. We can still win the top goal scorer.
Oh, I was going to say, what is the team going to get disqualified?
We
If
can
Portugal
win
put back in?
something. We can win something.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
almost still leading.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you got Denmark, and what about England, Ukraine?
England.
England. Okay, Mitch.
Yeah, same thing. Denmark, England, and Denmark. I want to win this tournament. For my dark horse. I hope they do it. If nothing else, for Ericsson.
Yeah.
So
I don't think anyone's going to beat Italy, though. Italy's the team to beat, and no one's going to get it done.
you won't
Christian,
hear me saying that.
It's coming home. It's coming home.
It's coming home.
That's what I'm going with.
Christian, Mitch, always a pleasure. I'm Kevin Jesus. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. And the next time you see us, we're going to be talking about the only team that matters now, and that's Sporting, not Porto, and definitely not that whatever thing that is on Mitch's jersey there. So enjoy, and don't forget, defending champions right here. Defending champions. Finally. Forza, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Take it easy.
Ciao, guys.
Take it easy.